Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us again to gather in this beautiful place, and we are learning the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are learning from the advice of His Messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we do always, we are in the series of 40 Hadiths of Imam An Nawawi, and again, Alhamdulillah, that He allowed us to finish up to the 34 Hadiths, and we are towards the end of the Hadith series of Imam An Nawawi. Today, inshallah ta'ala, we'll do 2 Hadiths because the topic of this both Hadiths is the same topic basically. They are talking about the brotherhood in Islam. So both hadiths is a bit longer in description. So what I did, I will show you the hadith on the screen, then we'll talk about the main points of the hadith, and inshallah ta'ala we'll finish both the hadiths together inshallah in today's talk. So let's begin with the revision as we always do. The list is growing, so we have to be with patience with the revision list, but this will be helpful for my memory and all your memory too. So the first hadith was the hadith about the intention, then the hadith of Jibril, the 5 pillars of Islam, the hadith from Ibn Masud that the and the destiny, that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala write the destiny and how miraculously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give birth to a child in the of the mother. Then the innovation is rejected from our mother Aisha radhiyallahu anha, halal, haram, and the doubts about the matters, and all things is clear if the heart is clear. Then religion is nasiha, ad-deen nasiha, the sincerity. Rasulullah sallallahu was advised to fight until the people say shahada. Also the avoid prohibition and follow the commandments of Rasulullah sallallahu. So avoid the harams, all the harams Rasulullah told us, and do our best of ability to the commandments of Allah and His Messenger. Allah is pure and He only accepts pure only. The next 10 hadith talks about the doubtful matters, that we should leave the doubtful matters, we should leave or what is not concerned with us. Love for brothers what we love for yourself. A Muslim blood is only allowed in 3 cases. Speak good and honor your neighbor, honor your guest if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and if you believe in the last day. Advice from Rasulullah that do not be angry. This is the advice from to the Bedouin that came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Verily Allah has joined ihsan. Ihsan here means the perfection, and Allah wants ihsan from us. And in this hadith Rasulullah mentioned about the jabiha, that when we slaughter an animal, we should be careful and be considerate and kind to the animal. Fear Allah wherever you are, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will find Him in front of you, in back of you, on side of you, to protecting you. If you feel no shame, if you have no shame, then you can do whatever you can do. And this is a wording from the prophets of the previous time also. Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have istiqamah, meaning you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have your iman and do the things with consistency. Even if you do little things, you do with consistency. The question from a Bedouin, where the Bedouin asked Rasulullah sallallahu, Ya Rasulullah, give me, I have a question from myself, that if I just pray, if I fast during the Ramadan, and I consider halal as halal, haram as haram, will I be entered into the Jannah? And Rasulullah said, yes, you will be entered into the Jannah. Then purification is half of iman. Hadith Qudsi after that is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that He is the one who will provide, He is the provider, He is the one who gives us the food, who gives us the drink, and everything we should ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every tasbih, every takbir, every tahleel is a sadaqah. This was a question from the Sahaba who didn't have money like the other Sahaba had, and they were worried that they are getting a lot of rewards by doing charity. Rasulullah told them, you do tasbih and takbir and you will get the same thing. Then Rasulullah said righteousness is a good character, the hadith about the akhlaq. Have taqwa and hold to the sunnah of Rasulullah and to the sunnah of his Khulafai Rashidin. A deed which will take into the Jannah is that Rasulullah mentioned that all the 5 pillars of the Islam in this hadith, and also he mentioned that the praying in tahajjud, the qiyamul layl, reading the Quran, reciting the Quran, following the Sunnah, all these things is a matter, and on top of all this matter is the matter of the tongue. As long as you have control on the tongue, inshallah ta'ala, you will be successful in this world and in the hereafter. There should be neither harming from yourself, and you should not be also harmed by other. And where people to be given claims, this was the hadith about the social justice, that they will claim everything, so we should be just in claiming things, and and also asking something from the other party. Number 34, let him change by the hand. What this hadith we did last week, that if there is something you see that is disapproved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is disapproved by our sharia, we should try first to change it with our hand. If not, we change with our tongue. If not, we hate this or we dislike this in our heart. And that is the lowest level of iman, as we discussed last week. So let's look at the today's hadith. As I said, the hadith is too long about the brotherhood. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just this is, and both the hadith is narrated by Abu Huraira radhiyallahu anh, and we know that Abu Huraira is the most number of hadith narrator. We'll go through the list again just to remind ourselves. This hadith is about the brotherhood. I'll come back to the topic of this hadith. I'm just showing it on the screen. The next hadith is also about the brotherhood and some other matters in this hadith. Hadith number 36, also narrated by Abu Huraira, and both hadith is Sahih, found in Sahih Muslim and other books of the hadith like Ibn Majah, Tirmidhi and all other books. But both of the hadith are decided by Abu Huraira. Let's look at the list again here. That who are the most number of hadith narrator. Abu Huraira as the first one. Then we have Abdullah ibn Abbas. We have Aisha bint Abu Bakr, our mother Aisha radhiyallahu anha, Abdullah ibn Umar, Zubair ibn Abdullah, and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the last one I believe. These two hadiths that we are doing today, as I said, they are all on brotherhood. So what I did to make the thing shorter, and I just took the topics from the both hadiths. So in both hadiths we have advice from Rasulullah to do not do few things, and in the other hadith Rasulullah told us to do things. So there are 6 things he said, do not do this, do not do this. There are 6 other things where he said, do these ones. And the things that he said us to do, all these things come with the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at the end he point out what will help us to do all these things. What is the best thing that will help us to do all these 6 things, and we'll discuss those one in the next slide, inshallah ta'ala. These are the 6 things that Rasulullah told us not to do in the hadith number 35. What is the first few things? The first thing, do not envy each other. In the brotherhood, do not envy each other. The next thing, do not inflate price on each other. That is in the business transaction. So what it means basically, if your brother is doing a transaction with someone that he's selling his car or selling his any other property and saying, okay, I'm selling it for $1,000, and you go and you say to the, I'll give you some low price, or I'll give you more price. So just to make him, his transaction null and void. So you're doing it intentionally. Now some may ask question that in Islamic auction, in a lot of places, in fundraising places, we do Islamic auction, and people put their hands up to get more price, but that is with a good intention. You're not, sometimes you don't even know who are you bidding with. So in a gathering like this, a lot of people are sitting, we're selling a laptop or something, and someone raises a hand, okay, I'll pay $500. Some other brothers say, I'll pay $600. Because this is for the fundraising, this is for the good reason, and you have no intention to harm the brother on the other side who's bidding lower than you. Third thing, Rasulullah said, do not hate one another. Do not hate, we shouldn't have any hate for one another, brother. Fourth thing, he said, do not shun each other. What is shun means here? Shuns mean to reject someone. Meaning that you know someone and he has done something to you in previously, and now if you look at him, you don't talk to him or you don't give salam to him, and it's completely rejected from you. You used to go to his house, he used to come to your house, and he will stop all this thing. And as you know, in another hadith Rasulullah mentioned, this is not allowed for Muslim brothers for more than 3 days. But is there any case, any exception in this matter? Yes, there are some exceptions. One of the exceptions is that, and we know from the story of the Sahaba Ka'b ibn Malik. If you remember that, in the Surah At-Tabu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the ayah that Allah have forgiven those 3. Who are those 3? One of them was Ka'b ibn Malik, that they had excuses not to go to join the battle of Tabuk. That was a battle of the obligatory battle, and over there Ka'b ibn Malik had some excuses, he didn't go. He came to Rasulullah and he said, yeah, Rasulullah, I have no excuse. Basically, I was being lazy and I didn't go. And Rasulullah was not happy with him, and he made a fatwa, he made a ruling that for 1 month or 40 days, some narrations say 40 days, that he was will not talk by anybody. Even his own cousin, when he go and he give you salam, they didn't respond his salam. But that is a case, where Rasulullah has instructed. So if this is a case like this, someone did something which is against Islamic Sharia, which is against some obligation, and we have a Khalifa in such a society, that he plays a ruling on this one, then we should follow that one. Another exception in this matter is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah An-Nisa, when a argument goes between husband and wife, and the spouse is in a position of nusuj, and we explain this word nusuj. What is nusuj means? Basically, it means that the spouse is completely out of control. Your wife is completely out of control. And some tafsir people, the tafsir scholars say, nusuj basically means that she has something she's doing outside. So she has crossed the boundaries, and she's doing something which is against your marital boundaries. In that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advised three things. That first you stop talking to her, then you stop sharing beds with her, and then if it's required, then you do the beatings if required. And we discussed this ayah when we did Surah An-Nisa. So that is the time this cannot be applied that more than 3 days, because Rasulullah himself also, as you all know, during the end of his lifetime, he had shunned all his wife because of some reasons for almost a month. And then next year he did itikaf for 20 days. In that situation, you can still talk to them. It's not like you cannot talk to them at all, but basically the regular dealings are not allowed in that time. The fifth thing, where Rasulullah said in this here, do not undercut one another in business transaction. So this is the same thing like the number 2. So one is to inflate price. Inflate price also, as I mentioned that I should mention that you get some some goods to you, and that it is in demand, and you inflate the price in such a high that you do damage to the society, damage to your brothers. Undercut price is also the same thing, that you're doing something just to harms other business. Number 6, do not violate each other's blood, property and honor. Blood, property and honor by oppression, by humiliation, or by looking down someone. So by oppression you can cause blood, so you can fight with each other, or by humiliation you can cause damage to the property of the others, and by looking down on someone or by humiliating someone, insulting someone, you are violating the right of his honor. So these are the 6 things in the hadith number 35. Rasulullah mentioned not to do these ones. In this matter, I just want to mention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also revealed a beautiful surah in in the Quran. This is Surah Al-Hujurat. I already talked about this few times. It's only a small surah of 16 lines, 18 lines, and over there also Allah mentioned 6 things not to do. Before Allah mentioned those 6 things, Allah said a beautiful thing. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa, meaning the Muslims, the mu'min, are nothing but the brothers. And I mentioned before, ikhwatun and ikhwan, there's 2 different things. One is ikhwatun. Ikhwatun means the brotherhood, like we call each other brother. Okay, brother, can you give me this one? Ikhwan in English means blood brothers, and Allah used the same word, that ikhwan. It is as if like the Muslims, the mu'mins are as if like blood brothers, nothing less than that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran over there say 6 things not to do, which is very similar to these things basically. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say la yaskhar qawmin, don't scoff on each other, don't say bad things about each other. Then he said do not insult someone, do not call someone by nicknames, don't give nicknames and make a mockery of that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said don't spy on them, don't have suspicion on them. And lastly, in the 6th thing he said don't backbite each other. And over there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that if you backbite, then you are eating the flesh of your dead brother, as if you are eating the flesh of your dead brother. Now let's look at the 6th thing in the next hadith Rasulullah told us to do about the brotherhood. He said, be Allah's servants as brother. And the explanation of this point, basically it means that you will be brothers in if you are brothers with each other, if you have the real brotherhood, then you got the title of the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All these 6 things come with the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What I mean by that, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says relieve grief and pain of each other, and Allah will relieve a pain from each other or grief from each other in the day of judgment. So over there in the 6, there's no punishment mentioned, but we know that these are something that we should not do, and we will be punished, as Allah mentioned that backbiting has punishment, all these other things has punishment. But these 6 things Rasulullah mentioned with the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if you relieve grief, you will be relieved grief by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you alleviate difficulty in paying debt, if you help someone paying their debt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I will help you in this world and also in the hereafter to make something easy for you that was difficult for you. Imagine the reward. You're doing something here in this world and you are getting two things, in this world and also in the hereafter, in the day of judgment. Then number 4, so conceal the faults of a Muslim. If you conceal someone's faults of a Muslim, then Allah will conceal your faults in the day of judgment. But in this matter, in number 4, there are a few things sometimes you need to say. There are a few situations, some exceptions. Like if you are in charge of getting information for a marriage for a newly bride or a groom, and you have to tell the truth, because if you hide something that should not be hidden, then it will cause the marriage a problem later on. Sometimes it is necessary to rebel against a unjust ruler. So you need to talk against those ones, because if it is necessary for the goodness of the society. Number 5, be always in aid of a Muslim. And over there the reward is, Allah said, as long as you aid a Muslim brother, Allah will be in your aid. So as long as you are helping a Muslim brother, Allah will be always in aid with you. And the number 6 is seeking knowledge. This part of this, that all these advices, don'ts and do's, will come from seeking knowledge. And in that Hadith number 36, Allah mentioned, Rasulullah mentioned that Allah says, whoever choose a path of seeking knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his path to Jannah easy. Also the Hadith continues, and he said, whoever among you gathers together and talk about the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talk about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send tranquility through his angel to that gathering. And a lot of hadith about seeking knowledge. And why seeking knowledge? And some of the explainer of this hadith, Imam An Nawawi, there's a few scholars, they say the best thing you can do in a jama'ah, that seeking knowledge as a brotherhood, because if you don't have knowledge, you cannot implement this don't and do's. How do you know about this? We should do that, we shouldn't do backbite, we should help others. How do you know this do and don'ts? By getting the knowledge. And that is one of the best things that we can do as a gathering, to seek knowledge, to spread the knowledge. And also at the end, Allah Rasulullah said, piety, the taqwa is in the heart. And he pointed his finger here 3 times. And also in this hadith, he said, the last part of the hadith number 36, he said that nobody can go to Jannah with his lineage. It is only his amal will help get the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he mentioned 3 things. The iman. Iman is the foundation, the base foundation. On the iman, you build the walls to protect yourself. That is the taqwa. And then if you go to the next level, you have to act more. You have to do more good deeds, and that will bring your amal, and then your taqwa will go up and up. You can have iman, but you cannot have taqwa. Sometimes you have the iman, people believe, but they don't have taqwa. Sometimes you believe and you have the taqwa, fear of Allah, but you are lazy in your amal, in your good deeds. All these 3 things are mentioned in these 2 hadiths together. And also with these 3 things, what we should do, we should look for knowledge, we should seek knowledge, so that it benefit ourselves and benefit the society around us. So inshallah ta'ala we'll finish it here. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.